listening to the Pathway Podcast, leading you on the path to fitness success. Here are your hosts, Jonathan Canales and Rex Andrews.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Pathway Podcast. I'm Rex, and Jonathan's not with me today, but it's a special edition of the Pathway Podcast. Today we're talking about how executing fitness success, the busy man's playbook to getting back in shape fast. Our book is included in this awesome deal, the Men's Dating and Lifestyle Super Pack from Superstack. They call it a stack. From Infostack. And what this thing is just a ton of great information from a lot of amazing individuals of how you can level up your game, whether it's dating, lifestyle, wellness, health, anything like that. And today on the podcast, I'm interviewing another guy who contributed to this stack, Funk Roberts. Funk has over 700,000 followers on YouTube, has 14,000 men in his private training group that he has online, and he's an awesome dude. Former professional volleyball player, Muay Thai fighter. He's done a lot of cool stuff. And we're just kind of chopping it up, talking about fitness and talking about leveling up as guys on the podcast. So let's jump into my interview with Funk Roberts. Hey, Funk Roberts, appreciate you jumping on the podcast with us, man. Excited to get this thing going.
Yeah, thanks so much, and I hope everyone listening likes it. And yeah, man, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So we're doing this Infostack together, the men's lifestyle and dating super pack, right? And I know you and I, we're not in the dating game anymore. Happily married men.
Mine's downstairs.
You're in the fitness game, right? We all the time taking this thing off, but guys are in need of advice right now, right? And there's a lot of guys who want to step up but don't really have the resources to do it. So I think this stack is a great opportunity for that, right?
Yeah, I do. I think when I'm looking through the stack, so basically what we're talking about is like a dating, relationship, lifestyle, health. And I think for every man, it's really important to, no matter where you are in your life, like whether you're just first time dating, whether you're just divorced and getting back into it, or even divorced and trying to figure out like how to maneuver. I think there's a product in there for that. Or whether you're married and you may have a disconnect with your wife or your significant other, and you want to, get back together with them or figure out how that connection can be. There's stuff in there for that. And then of course, lifestyle, there's a little bit of fashion, but I think with where we come in, it definitely fitness and health. Like that's going to be the number one thing, because if you're in shape, if you're healthy, if you love yourself, which comes with feeding your body the right foods, making sure that you're exercising, getting some recovery in, doing all the things, sleeping, getting 7 to 9 hours sleep, focusing on your hormones. If you have low testosterone, all of those things are key for us guys. And once you know that you're along that journey, like you're okay, you know what, I'm investing in myself, then you can give love to your significant other, or then you can give love to your kids. Then you can, give love to you feel confident when you're walking into a room with, you're at a club and you're feeling good, and, you're not going in like this or standing at the side of the freaking wall. You're actually, looking up and kind of looking around and going, all right, I'm good here. I look good. I feel good. I got some abs. And even if you don't have abs, I'm working on my abs, and, or when you're sitting down at a date, like I don't like you, man. I haven't been on a date in God knows how long. Sitting at a table, you see the date across from you, but you just have that, that you look good, your skin's good, you're taking care of yourself, and that's all you can ask for, right? Because if you feel good about yourself, that's going to 100% come off with the other person, with the woman or whomever you're looking for. You know what I mean?
100%, man. Yeah, I think a huge part of it, it's tough for guys to work on themselves, right? Like we're just like nose to the grindstone trying to just work all the time. But I know when I was in the dating game, dude, I wasn't ready to meet my wife. Like I wasn't the kind of guy who like deserved the wife that I have, And I think it's tough to step up. But yeah, if you want to have like that partner who you want to be with and you want to have that kind of connection, you got to be the kind of man who's going to attract that kind of person, right? And that takes doing that work and going like, all right, I am the confident guy walking in the room. Because if you're not that, like, dude, it's gonna be tough to find the kind of woman that you want to be with, right?
100%. Like, I mean, before I get to this, I got a story to tell everybody about my background, but I just want to say one thing. Like when I met Rex, we were coming into this dating stack together, right? Like we call it dating stack, but it's dating, lifestyle, health. Like don't get it twisted, guys. Even if you're married, this is an amazing, a lot of resources. I've been, I'm a former professional athlete, but I've been online in fitness for over 15 years pretty much. And I've got tons of products, and I have a membership site. So I've been in the industry for a while, and I've done these bundles before too. And when I looked at this bundle, I was like, oh, this is great. And then I saw Rex's name, and I'm thinking, wait, that name sounds familiar. But I didn't know where I heard that name from. And then, then Rex calls me, reaches out to me, and he's like, all right, Funk, my name's Rex. This is what I'm doing. I'm part of the dating stack, and I'm going to do 12 hours of your workouts. We're going to go one at a time. I'm like, what? And so we're going back and forth. Listen, I love the fact that you were going to do that, but man, even talking to my wife, she's like, is he crazy? Like, there's no way he'll be able to do 12 hours of your workup. It's impossible.
Dude, no, your workouts are hard. Like, I know that, but I was like, all right, how do I get like I'm new in the game, like
Right.
This is the first, our book came out this year. So we've always been like an in-person gym. And I was like, dude, how do I get how do I get some steam going? How do I make some connections with the guys? I'm like, you know what? Like, I've always felt like you got to earn your place and you got to like do the work. And I came from pro wrestling, and pro wrestling is kind of like you start at the bottom and you got to like work your way in. Right. And I was like, all right, let me reach out to Funk, and I'm just going to kill myself 12 hours. Let me just do everything that I can and just like suffer live and see what happens. You're like, dude, that's the worst idea. I appreciate it though, because I would have done it. I would have been like 8 hours in, like, Funk, I'm sorry, like this was not a good idea. but I was like, how do I interview you? You're like, yeah, that's better. We can do that.
Yeah. It makes sense because you're a pro wrestler, so that mindset totally makes sense to me. I mean, when you're a high level athlete, that is sometimes type of things that come through our minds, right? Like, oh yeah, let's go hard, let's go extreme,
see what happens.
So like I said, I've been in the industry for a long time, and right now my focus is men over 40. So that's who I serve, as men in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Because actually, I, like you, Rex, when I wasn't looking for a wife. Like, I was going to be George Clooney for the rest of my life. Because as a professional athlete, you're no matter what sport you're in, and that, like, there's always the beach bunnies is what we used to call, because I played professional beach volleyball all over the world. So like, you're going all over the world, you're playing in Brazil, you're playing in the US, and there's always it's always there. And when you're at a high level, you get treated a little bit different than everyone else, depending on where you are. So and I love that. But I retired when I was 30. I played 15 years. I retired when I was 30. And then, I had kids, and, you're doing the 9 to 5 grind, and I still worked out, and I was still kind of doing some fitness stuff on the side, a little bit of personal training, a little bit of, a little bit of boot camp stuff. And then, and then YouTube came along, and I started to, I was like, oh, wait a minute, YouTube, maybe I can use this platform to get, and blogging to, get my message of fitness around the world. So I started doing that. But at that time, I was about 38, going on 39. And I was really big and puffy, because I'm 190 pounds now, 5'11". But, I'm usually at 185, 5'11", and at that time I was 215. And I was big and puffy, like really big and puffy, puffy muscle, you're kind of like, I don't call it, Elliot Halls calls it male PMS, which is puffy muscle syndrome, which is basically all the guys at the club, they wear the big sweaters. That used to be me, because you want to look big, right?
You can tell I worked out, right?
Yeah. But I realized here's tip number one, gents, tip number one, women love abs, no matter what. I don't care what you say, they love abs. All you have to do is grab the hand. And if you have abs, you just, all you have to do is just let them touch the abs, and that's it. You'll have them. They love touching abs. So that's tip number one. I know that's the hardest one to get, but when you have it, don't lose it. Don't lose it. I'm 53 years old. My abs are the number one thing I focus on. And that's nutrition, everything else. But anyway, aside from that, so here I am, 215. I'm big, puffy. So now if you look at my old workouts on YouTube, I'm always wearing a basketball jersey because they're a little bit bigger, right? And but I had a massive belly. Like, I had a huge belly. I was really fat at that time. And so also at that time, I was living with a girl, and she literally left me because I wouldn't satisfy her in bed. So and it was just that, like, she literally said to me, hey man, we're not having sex, I'm out of here. And so for a guy, as guys who are listening or whomever, like, that hits you hard, man. That really hits you hard. And so I started to spiral down because I didn't see myself as not being a sexual person, because I was playing the field, and I wanted to be, like I said, I wanted to be like George Clooney. I wanted to be single and just, play the field, right? Not have a girlfriend, not be tied down, let ladies know, hey, you know what? I'm just letting you know this is not going to be forever. I'm seeing other girls, I'm seeing other women. So, like that. I like that lifestyle because you're up front, you're not tied down to anybody. And so now, but this girl leaves me. So now I'm like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? Then I go to the gym. I'm working out with my buddy who I've been working out for years. He looks at me and says, hey man, doesn't it piss you off that you come to this gym and you work out 5, 6 days a week, right? You're probably the hardest worker in this gym and you still look the same. And that blew my mind, because of course I'm going to be defensive, right? It's like, what the hell are you talking about? But then when I went home and I took off my shirt and I looked at what I looked like, because I never looked in the mirror without my shirt on. I never looked in the mirror because I was always living in the old, oh, I used to be a professional beach volleyball player days. So that's my mindset every time I'm looking at myself. That's what I see in the mirror or saw in the mirror. And yeah, that was a wake up moment, because yes, I was going to the gym, working out thighs, tries, back, shoulders, freaking everything, and then nothing was changing. So what do? I work out harder. What do? I go on every freaking diet. I go on, there was no keto, but I was going on low carb, low fat, freaking South Beach diet. I tried Atkins diet. Like I literally tried everything, right? Just to like quickly lose and then put it back on again. And so, not knowing what's going on, I'm getting injured all the time. I'm starting to like feel crappy and no drive, no confidence. Like literally, guys, I'm just like I'm posting videos on YouTube. Meanwhile, I'm coming home and just drowning my sorrows and just not loving myself, not liking myself, not having any confidence. So what do? I put a mask on, which is masking my manhood, and start going to strip joints, start going to after hours, start going in that circle, because and I start doing drugs. I'm doing all kinds of drugs, hardcore drugs, because that allows me to mask my manhood. I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to hang out with strippers, go to the strip joint, blow my money, go back there, hang out with them, do drugs with them. And that's going to make me a man. That's going to make me an alpha. That's going to, I'm going to be that guy, and yeah, I was for a while, but then when addiction overcame me and I became an addict, then it started to change. You're going into a dark, dark, dark world, man. I'm telling you, a very dark world. I didn't know what was going on. So now I'm masking my manhood, going crazy, still not having sex, because when you're doing drugs, you're not having sex. So let's get it, maybe at the very beginning, but as you're going through, man, it's not even working. So that's when I go to the doctor, and we do that yearly checkup, and he comes in and says, hey man, your testosterone levels are like 180. And I didn't know what that meant. I did, because remember, this is 15 years, 16 years ago, maybe. I had no clue. I thought my testosterone levels were good because I was big and puffy. How could that be, man? I hang out with strippers. I go to after hours bars. I hang out with bikers and friggin' gangbangers, and I'm chilling. I'm the life of the party. How could I have low testosterone, right? He's like, dude, your testosterone levels are like a grandfather, man. Like, what's going on? And then he explained why we need testosterone. Explained it. It's for your drive, sex drive. It's for your health. It's for losing fat, increasing your muscle, your energy levels. Like, it makes you a man. So he goes, no wonder you feel the way you feel. That totally makes sense to him. And you got a belly, which means you got way more estrogen than you do testosterone. Once I found that out, that's where I made the difference, man. That's what changed my entire life. Literally in 6 months, I went from 215 to 185 ripped. I was 40 years old. I felt great because I changed my workouts. I changed my eating. I stopped. Well, I was still a little bit of an addict, but anyway, I was starting the recovery process. All right, you can't do everything at once.
You're working on it.
Give me a break. Yeah. But that's when my life, like, that's where it was changing, right? Yeah, then 6 months later, I'm in recovery now. So, now we're clean, and we're going to Thailand and training. And I fought in Thailand, a Muay Thai fight in Thailand at 41. I won. And the way I met my wife is I was at a club, right? Just chilling, doing my thing, having a great time. And I had programs out. And my wife and her sister said, hey, do you want that? There's Funk Roberts over there. You want to meet Funk Roberts? And they just came up to me, and I'm like a really happy, open person. Like, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Like, they came up to me and they thought I was going to be a douchebag, but instead I was like, hey, how are you? And so yeah, that's how I met her. So I wasn't looking, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing, I wasn't looking, but I was in shape and I was healthy and I felt good about myself. Right. I felt good about myself. And I didn't need to be at that point in order to like go out and stuff, but knowing that I was working on myself, that's kind of like the message. Because my testosterone levels went up and my body had changed, my mentality had changed, my lifestyle had changed. It opened up the door for someone else to come in who I wasn't expecting, but is now, I mean, she's my everything. She's my best friend. She's my road dog, man. We do everything together. And so that kind of like the health portion of it is key. And then when we got married, literally one of our vows, and we said it in front of everybody, was like one of our like our value systems are the same. We value health and fitness. That's our value. Like everyone has different value systems. It could be like money, it could be your kids, it could be your job, it could be coaching, it could be whatever you value. Both our value systems are health and fitness and being healthy. So nothing trumps that. Like nothing in our lives trump that. Wherever we live, whatever we do, that's going to be part of it. And we said like, okay, so if I get out of shape, you can call me fat. If you get out of shape, you call me fat. People are like, what the hell are these two talking about? Yeah. And so when you both have the same value, then your life revolves around the health, and you understand that if she's trying to help me, it's not to be it's not a loving reason because of our health, right? It's our health. But you don't have to have health as your number one value. But if you want to accelerate in anything else in your life, it's going to be your health. It's going to be, so I tell you the story because, I was in a situation where I didn't know what to do. I was getting back in the dating world. I didn't know, but when I worked on myself first, and then, baby stepped my way back into the dating world. Now we didn't have Tinder and all that stuff like you guys did. It was just basically go to the club. That's how we met girls, or go to church, but or go to the library.
Yeah. Like those are the options: clubs, church. Yeah. Yeah, no, man. Dude, I think that you hit on, that's a hell of a story, man. You hit on so many good points there. I think what's cool too is like for me with my wife, I wasn't looking for her either. It was I was at a point where I had kind of like given everything to wrestling, right? I started when I was 16, moved to Houston, lived in a hotel when I was 18, and like I was starving artist. I was like, just there's not money in wrestling until you hit like the top, and then like it pays off big, right? So you're like, right. Okay, like I'm doing the work now and I'll get there. And then I'm 25 and I'm 9 years into wrestling, and I'm living in this rented room in some dude's house, and I have a rented mattress, and I realized like I don't own anything, and right. Like I saw like the plastic on my mattress, and I was like, dude, this broke shit doesn't work anymore. Like I got to do something about this now, Right. And so with wrestling, you're waiting on somebody else to decide you're good enough. You're waiting on somebody to give you a contract and say like, I value you this much.
Right.
I was like, man, fitness had always been a priority for me. And I watched my family struggle with health. And I knew that's why like it was important to me. And I wanted to figure out how to help other people do the same thing. Right. So I started personal training when I was 18. So I've been doing this for 7 years. At the time when I'm 25, I realized that like wrestling isn't it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to figure out how I can help more guys. I'm going to figure out how to help like guys who have families, who have careers, try to make time for their fitness. So go all in on that. I start my business, and like 3 months into starting my business, I meet this hot doctor who's a physical therapist, and like she's like, oh, you're a gym owner? She has no idea I'm broke, living in that rented room still, but she's like, you own a gym? Like, yeah, So we hook up, and then just like kind of stuck together from there. But if she had met broke pro wrestler who had nothing going for him, hot doctor's not hanging around. You know what I mean? Like
right, totally.
As soon as I started working on myself, man, like 3 months later, it's crazy how fast that happens. But you got to do that work. And I love what you said about health, man. If you want to do anything else, like how are you going to go crush it at work or crush it in anywhere else in life if you're not confident in the shape you're in, right? You don't have the energy to show up for it.
Yeah. And with all this, all this stuff going on in the world, viruses and stuff. I mean, we're going to get these things, but like, you don't want to, right? You want to be healthy. You don't want it to knock you on your butt and then you're out for however long it's going to be, right? You want to be hard to kill pretty much.
Yeah.
Depending on where you're at, right?
Yeah. I mean, we get people come to us who, they just all of a sudden, they get out of breath tying their shoes, or, going up the stairs, right? Or they're waiting until the doctor tells them, like, hey, man, like we're right around the corner from diabetes. Like we got to do something about this now, right? So like we can wait for that, or we can do something about it now, build that foundation, and then like be in control of the shape you're in, right? Grab that girl's hand, have the abs.
Totally. Yeah. And I don't want to I don't want to cookie code the fact that oh, you have to have abs and you have to be in shape to get women. You don't. But if you're working on it, that's the point. Like, because you got to start where everyone starts, where they start, right? Like, you could be 300 pounds. But if you start doing the work, I'm telling you, you start to attract people maybe that you weren't even looking for, but it radiates because when you're working on yourself, you feel better every time, every day, every rep, every meal that you put in your mouth, every 7-hour sleep that you get up, and it's going to be a struggle. It isn't not going to be easy. That's why your why, like Rex, your why was strong. It was like, listen, my family has I don't want to be broke, but my family has a shitload of whatever, being out of shape and out of health and health issues. So I don't want that. So every time you didn't want to get up to go to work, or you didn't want to get up to work out, or you didn't want to, you wanted to have some donuts or what have you, when you knew you shouldn't and you had an option, you could just go back to your why, right? And I think that's a strong point for these guys. What was your pro wrestling name?
Rex Andrews.
Oh, it was just it wasn't Rex.
You got a better pro wrestling name than I did. Funk Roberts.
That's right. It wasn't Rex the Tex or Rex the. It wasn't.
It was the Precision Tactician.
Oh, okay, that's what I mean. Okay, that's what I meant. Your wrestling name was Precision Tactician. I like that, man. When you grow up watching? Obviously, you grew up watching wrestling.
Yeah, I did. I grew up. So like I got into like 2002, so kind of like after the Stone Cold pop and stuff, but. I was big into like Eddie Guerrero was big, Kurt Angle was big.
Okay, that angle,
yeah. And then when I came to Houston, I came out here to train under Booker T.
Okay,
yeah, he's the man. So back in 2019, Booker came out of retirement for one more singles match. Me and him toe to toe out here in Houston.
So, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's a cool time.
Because here's the thing about I'm going into wrestling because I've just we can rap, right? We can talk here.
Yeah.
So like wrestling for me. I'm old school, like Sweet Ebony Diamond, the British Bulldogs. I loved, obviously Rick. Well, I liked Rick Rude, but obviously the Nature Boy, all that stuff, right? Like Hulk Hogan, like all that era, Macho Man. That era was big for me. That's when I used to watch it. And then when Booker T came out, it was like, look at this guy, man. Like I would look at him, right? I'm like, I don't know if I like this guy. There's something about him. And then I watched his. So, but I wasn't really into wrestling at that time. One of my beach volleyball, the guy one of the beach volleyball partners, he was into wrestling, and he used to talk about Booker T all the time. But I kind of just didn't get it until I watched his documentary. He had a documentary on WWE, and then I'm like, oh, I love Booker T because you don't know, like I love when these docs come out now. You know what I mean? Because you're just living in the time. So you don't know the background behind anything until the docs come out and then they tell you about the background. I love that guy, man. Like absolutely love Booker T. He's amazing.
Dude, yeah. I mean, he went through it, man. He grew up poor here in Houston, got busted robbing a Wendy's because they were just trying to figure out how to survive, comes out of prison, and then, like he tried to run for mayor in Houston. He tried to like take it all the way. That didn't really work out, but he's the unofficial mayor. Anywhere you go in Houston, he's doing it, man. He's that guy. Like I got to interview him for a podcast a while back, and he's got twins, he's got kids, he's got his WB career. He's on A&E all the time. Has his own show on ESPN. Like I don't know anybody who's busier, and he's like 55 and still in incredible shape. Like. It just takes that discipline and mindset, like for him, he's like, dude, I got these tailored suits. If I get 5 pounds out of shape, like those don't fit.
Totally. When we go to Thailand, we always get fitted suits. And like if I have to fit in those suits, right? Because they just spend whatever it is. I mean, not a ton of money because it is Thai baht, but you're bringing home 3 or 4 suits from Thailand. You want to make sure you can fit into them, but so you got to stay like lean or whatever it is. It's so funny that you just said that. So your gym's in Houston.
Yeah, we're just outside Houston.
Nice.
Yeah, you're Canadian. Where are you at right now?
I'm in Toronto. I'm in the Toronto, Ontario, Canada. But online, because that's what I do my business online. So we reach people from all over the world. But yeah, I'm in Toronto. Love it.
What inspired the Muay Thai game? What made
Yeah, good. That's a great question. So when I was younger, like 21 years old, there was I worked at a store. I was a professional beach volleyball player at that time, but during the off season, this Muay Thai gym opened up in a store because Muay Thai was banned in Ontario at this in Canada, or in Ontario at least at this time. Ontario's our province, but the guy sold it as like, hey man, if you like the street fight or whatever, then I've got this martial art. It's called Muay Thai, and you throw elbows, you throw knees, and I actually fought a lot when I was younger, like a lot. So right off that was it. I was hooked. So we start going there, and then we start training, and then it was all Muay Thai, it was all culture. It was totally different than, I mean, it was still elbows and knees, but
Yeah.
I fell in love with the culture. I fell in love with everything. Unfortunately, I couldn't pursue it because of my beach volleyball. Like I had to travel, and then indoor too. I was playing both at the same time.
Yeah.
So I gave that up. But then when I had made that transformation, that body transformation, UFC started to blow up a little bit more, right? So this is, frick, I don't know, 2009, I guess it would be, or 2008, 2009 maybe. So UFC started to blow up, and the Muay Thai gym just opened up. So I'm like, hey man, like I'm gonna go back to something I love, like something that was passionate, because I was in shape now,
Yeah.
right? So didn't feel like I was getting injured, and I was training differently. I wasn't doing bis and tries and back and shoulders. I was doing more strength and conditioning because I had just got my MMA strength and conditioning certification. I just got my kettlebell cert, so I started to know more about training as a fighter, because I wanted to train fighters is actually what I wanted to do. And so I started training, and then I said, you know what, just like yourself, or just like Booker T's, like, you know what, I'm going to Thailand by myself, and I'm gonna get trained by the best. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here? What are we doing here? So I went to Thailand, trained, came back, and then around that time is when I met my wife now, and she had also just come back from Thailand. She fought in Thailand, so she knew who I was. She knew who I was. She was scoping me on Facebook. And at that time, I was new to Facebook, right? This Facebook was totally new at that time.
Yeah.
So she was leaving comments. I had no clue. But she saw me going, wait a minute, this guy's in fitness. I'm in fitness. This guy's in the Muay Thai. I'm in the Muay Thai. And then her Muay Thai coach came back to her and said, hey man, you gotta look up this guy, Funk Roberts. I just did my kettlebell certification with this guy. I think you like him. Go look him up. And then she saw me at the club. So that's how that
club meeting, that wasn't chance. She had like a tracker on you, dude. She was like,
I bring that up all the time. It's like, I didn't know you were gonna be there.
Yeah.
So then the next year we're like, hey, let's go fight in Thailand. So we fought on the same card. I was the main fight. She was co-main. We both won. And then I asked her to marry me, a couple days later. And yeah, so then we go every single year to Thailand. We go every year. I started doing retreats there as well until COVID hit. But yeah, that's our second home, man. And I love Muay Thai. I just love I love that. I love it. I love the barbaric. It's just 8 limbs. You throw whatever, but it's a beautiful sport. It's a beautiful sport.
I think it's so underrated, and it's insane. Those pro Muay Thai guys who live out there and fight like almost every weekend, right? Just trying
all the time, every week,
yeah.
every week. It's insane, man. It's insane. And everyone's fought Muay Thai. Like the tuk driver that's going to pick you up, he's probably fought Muay. It's like here in Canada, it's hockey. Like everyone plays hockey in Canada, right?
Yeah.
It's probably football, baseball, something, right?
Right.
In Thailand, it's Muay Thai. It's their national sport. So like you could be in a tuk with a tuk driver who was a Lupini champion 10 years ago. That's insane.
Dude, it's crazy, man. And yeah, I think everybody should do some kind of martial arts at some point, right? That discipline that you learn, and just the consequences of things can go really bad really fast. You need to know what to be able to do to handle that, right?
Yeah, and there's the confidence thing again, guys. Like it's kind of like, doesn't matter how old you are. Like I'm 53 and I still hit pads with my pad holder. My wife's 51, and my wife could probably still fight at 100%. She's a very, very high level, good Muay Thai fighter. But like the confidence you have, like, yes, I could be listen, there's a lot of guys out there that are there's 2 types of guys I call them. There's all show, no go, the guys who they look good, but they can't throw a baseball. They can't freaking, they just can't do much. They can't really do too much. They look good, which is fine. Hey, I'm not hating on anybody that I'm talking about. Or there's the empty houses, is what we used to call them at the gym. It's a guy who's like really big, but very weak, right? Like very weak. Like he can't really lift that heavy, because that was another thing I love to do, was like to lift heavy, even if it was dumbbells or what have you. But you want to be able to feel confident, right? Like even if you're just doing jujitsu, like now it's you could go to a jujitsu. It's not high. It's not intense to in the same sense like Muay Thai. You're jumping, you're kicking. It's a different type of conditioning.
Yeah.
With jujitsu, you're always learning, and the knowing that it humbles you very much. I mean, you're getting tapped every second, every time as you're learning, and you all will always be going through that. But the confidence you're gonna have, man, like again, when Angela and I walk into anywhere, like the confidence we have is like we work for the UFC. Like I work for the UFC, so any Canadian or Australia or New Zealand event, my wife and I, we're part of the Canadian UFC team, and we do all the we do fighter relations. So from the time the fighters get off the plane all the way to when they leave, we do the weigh-ins, we do the night, like we organize everything in the back at fight night, and we bring them out. We make sure, okay, Connor, you're fighting in 2 minutes. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And we walk around. We do everything, like everything we do. And so being around the fighters and being around that, there's certain teams, like there's a Canadian team, the US team, I think like the British team or whatever. You can tell the teams that have the confidence, because around fighters, you don't want to be like, oh yes, okay, sure. Like we're very confident. I'm very confident around these guys. Like, I treat them with 100% respect, and I fanboy out sometimes because I love these guys, and but it's kind of like you have that, or like you just feel confident. Doesn't matter where you are, right? Because you can handle yourself. You're not like you're going to get in a fight, but it's just knowing you can handle yourself. Hey, listen, man, we're here to provide, protect, and procreate. That's why we're put on this earth. Providing for our family, which means we got to be in the best health and shape we can so we can provide. Protecting our family, our kids, our grandkids, our significant other, the people in our community and around us, and procreating. Depending on how old you are, we got to keep pumping out the legacy. This is your legacy you're leaving, right? Your name you're leaving. So that's it. If you get that in your mind, and aside from all the toxic masculinity, all the stuff that goes on that they're trying to push the manhood down, we gotta bring it back up. We've got to take our manhood back, really and truly, because we're getting stripped of it every single day. I'm not getting political, but it's happening. So how do we solve it? With ourselves first, man. We gotta take care of our health, and also learn ways to communicate better with women, whether it's dating, whether it's relationships, whether it's learning to dress. Like, I remember when I first met my wife, and probably for the last first 5 years, I was still dressing in the 80s, man. I was still in the 80s, man. My wife's like, dude, you cannot go out there. You look like a goddamn homeless person. You're Funk Roberts. You cannot go out like that. So I had to change. My style, and I loved it, because we're always trying to reinvent ourselves, right? We're always trying to get better, be better, 1% better every day, no matter what it is, and not being afraid to, okay, you know what? Let me try this on. I know that this may not be me because I'm used to wearing that, but damn it, I'm working hard on my body. I'm going to try this shirt. It's a little bit fitted. It's something a little bit different. Hey, you know what? This looks good. Or I'm going to put on this color. All right. Okay. I feel it. Like always got to get better. Always got to be ready for change.
Yeah, and you got to be confident being uncomfortable, right? Because like, man, let me try this out. I might suck at this, right? You might suck at that. You're gonna suck at that first Muay Thai class. You're gonna catch a knee. Like, well, shit, I need to learn something, right? But that's like that leveling up only comes from getting outside your comfort zone and being able to challenge yourself, right? And like my thing is like focus on what you're focusing on, and like set your priorities and say like, this is it, man. If I'm all in on trying to figure this dating game out, or I'm trying to figure this fitness out, like that's got to be a priority. I'm not watching the news. I don't care about toxic masculinity. I don't care what like anybody's telling me I should focus on, because I know that's not the stuff that's going to move the ball for me. I got to stay in my game. And I think that's what like this stack does a great job of. Like anywhere you're trying to grow, there's something in here that you can obsess about, and that's what you need to do. You got to go all in and just like, hey man, this month, this is what I'm doing. This is my thing, and I'm gonna figure this thing out. And it's gonna suck at first, but I'm gonna get better at it, right?
Yeah, the stack. I am happy to be part of this. The now we're talking the dating stack, because you're right. It's like there's everything in there. There's dating stuff, like, you know what I mean. And then I did see one thing for like if you're just newly divorced, because that's rampant. So for us guys, I mean, we get a lot of men that I know who are divorced, because I do work with men who have gone through divorce or are going through divorce, and it is hell. right? I mean, for some people. So imagine you just went through all that stuff. Imagine having a resource to help you, like that you could read and kind of get you back on track. Or if you're just getting in the dating game, imagine a resource that will tell you, hey, this is how you should speak to women. This is what women like. This is what women don't like. Like, listen, man, we got to ask for help. We got to get help. We got to hack everything we can, biohack or date hack or whatever it is. We can't listen. Anything that's been done successfully has already been pretty much done. So instead of us trying to reinvent the wheel, no, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to do it my way. Oh yeah, you've been doing it your way. Where are you right now, buddy? Right? Like, you've been doing it your way and it's not working. It's time to go. You know what? I'm going to listen. I'm going to surrender. I'm going to surrender and I'm going to listen. Because when I was training for my fight, I told my Ajan or my crew, you tell me what to do, I'm doing it. I will never ever question you. He goes, okay, you got to stop lifting weights. You can only do body weight. So I did body weight for 8 months because as a Muay Thai fighter, you can't be big and bulky. You got to, like, he just told me everything and I just did it. I came early, left late. I do these kicks on the bag, go right. He could have told me anything and I would have done it because he is a champion. Jean Berklerk is a legend. So I'm freaking Funk Roberts. I'm nobody. I'm freaking do push-ups and burpees. That's all I do. So I'm listening to him, right? And he told me, like, when you're sparring, guys are gonna come harder at you than they usually do at anyone else, even if it's tech sparring, because you're Funk Roberts. So you're in their little thing. So I humbled myself. I stayed in there and I just continued. I didn't get upset because I knew that was going to happen. It's just when you are able to surrender, okay, listen, I'm going to read this book. I'm going to read it from cover to cover. I'm going to give whatever it says in here a try for 6 months or 9 months or 3 months or a month or whatever. Commit, man. Commit. Because usually when you watch those Netflix specials or those whatever, Walter White. What Walter White's in?
Bad.
Okay, so the first couple episodes of Breaking Bad, a little slow, right? A little slow, but you have to go through the little slow, right? It's a little slow, but all of a sudden, boom! A lot of guys tap out. I can't watch that, man. I watched the first 2 episodes. It's the 3rd episode, guy. The 3rd one is the one that's gonna get you. It's always like they tap out too early. Don't stay in it. Commit to it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, you're gonna get a nugget somewhere that you can learn, right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no time learning is wasted. You're always progressing, right? You're like, I'm gonna take what I learned here at Muay Thai, what I learned from beach volleyball. I'm gonna put it together, and like that's what makes Funk Roberts different than anybody else out there, right? Nobody else has got the same inputs as you.
Yeah,
got to get yourself out there, man, dude.
Totally.
Fuck, man, I appreciate you spending so much fire on this thing, man.
No problem, man. This is great. I'm glad we got to do this. I'm glad we met, because here's the other thing, guys. Now Rex and I, we know each other, right? I can help you or you can help me or whatever. If I want to get into pro wrestling, you can help me. You can be my manager. You can be the funkster. Oh, dude, let's do it.
You fired me up, man. I'm like,
let's do it. Let's do it. Now, of course, I'm going to start from the beginning and I'm going to have to take my tomps. I'm going to have to take my licks. I'm going to have to take all the beatings, but that's the fun of it. That is the fun part, as far as I'm concerned. Like going through something that you've never done before, and then like just seeing minute improvements. Oh, how awesome is that? Oh
yeah, man. I've never sold a book before. We put that book out. Like, I made my first sale. All right, we got something going now. If I did it once, I can do more of it. Let's go.
So you say there's a chance. That's it.
That's all I need, man. I'll do 12 workouts. I'll do whatever it takes.
No, man. Thank you so much for this. This has been amazing. I'm glad we met, and I'm glad that we're in this stack together. And guys, make sure that you get it. Like, it's worth it. It's so cheap. You get like 30 products. You get I didn't even tell what I have. You didn't tell what you have. I have a 28-day metabolic dumbbell program, home metabolic muscle. So my type of training is metabolic training. So metabolic resistance training. So you take weight training, dumbbells, and you take metabolic, like hip training. So you move from one exercise to another with little to no rest in between. And that'll help you burn calories and burn fat, not only during, but hours after, because of the afterburn effect, the EPOC. but you're going to also build muscle because we are overloading that muscle with whatever weight you're using for a specific period of time, whether it's 40 seconds of work, and the exercises are total body, the workouts are total body, and they're follow along, so real time. So if you pick it up, you're training with the Funkster, you got abs in there, you've got warm-ups, you got stretches, you've got mobility, and you got nutrition. So I've got you covered with all of that. But what do you got there, Rex? You got something pretty much similar.
Something similar. So my contribution was our book, Executing Fitness Success, the Busy Man's Playbook to Getting Back in Shape Fast. The whole idea here is if the excuse that's holding you back is I don't have time, that's bullshit. We got time. We know how to make it happen, right? So if you just like, man, I get that, but I don't know how to make it work, this book's what got you. We got 22 secrets in here that we use with all our clients, and we belief bust. We show you guys who do it, who have own concrete companies or engineers, of like, guys can make this happen. If you got families, if you don't have families, you're a single guy, you need to make health a priority. Like we talked about, if you can make your health happen, everything else improves, right? If you can stick to something, follow it all the way through, do Funk Roberts 28-day program. If you can do that for 28 days, you're going to have so much momentum on your side, but you got to make the time for it. You got to make those priorities happen. So that's what we got in there.
Yeah, and I think that's great because I think it's a 1-2 punch. We got the 21 secrets that are going to help you get through my workout program.
That's it. Yeah. And then there's like $5,000 worth of other stuff in this too. That's worth the price of admission alone, man.
100%.
So you can get this before September 22nd. That's the last day the stack's going to be live. Outside of that, Funk, where can they check out your stuff? Just go to YouTube?
Yeah, go to YouTube, but you know what? Pick up the dating stack. That's where you're gonna find me.
All right.
Well, I don't want to see subscribe on YouTube until you get that dating stack, and then I want you to subscribe. And in the comments, go, I got the dating stack.
There we go. Call to action. We need some comments. Got the dating stack. All right, man. Funk, appreciate you coming on here, man. I don't want to take too much of your time.
Thanks, man. I appreciate being on, Rex, and we'll do this again sometime for sure.
Perfect. Thanks, man.